Hello, everybody. This is Jake Stenziano, host of the Wheelbarrow Profits Podcast, here with my co-host, the multifamily mentor, the coach, the chef, the father of six, the best-selling author, the G-Daddy with the fresh haircut. Gino, how's it going?
Sans gel. No gel. I don't have a hat on. Larry's looking good. He's rocking a hat today.
Hair gel, brosif.
Sorry, you're killing me. You're throwing me off script here, Jake. How you doing, bro?
Always making it happen, big man. Today's guest is Larry Goins. Larry has been investing in real estate for over 30 years, successfully running the Goins Group since 2004. Previously, Larry served as president of Metrolina Real Estate Investors Association in Charlotte, North Carolina, a not-for-profit organization with over 350 members. Wow. So he has also a large online presence in the real estate education space. So without further ado, Larry, welcome to the show. Man,
that was awesome. Thanks a lot. You could barely tell you were reading that.
Bring the pain, baby! That's what I do. So I mean, you've been all over. I mean, 30 years. Why don't you tell us how you got started? And I'm sure you were doing something else before real estate. So why don't we get the backgrounder here?
Actually, I got started in the 80s. My very first deal, now you guys are too young to remember this, but my very first deal was an FHA non-qualifying assumable loan. Can you believe that? There actually used to be loans that you could assume. All you had to do was sign your name, and you could assume an FHA loan. That was my very first deal. I bought that property. I gave $1,500 down, assumed the loan. I kept it as a rental for 4 or 5 years. And then I eventually sold it, but I sold it on a wrap financing because, I don't do anything simple, okay? But I sold it on a wrap, got a down payment, and then I eventually sold that loan. And that was my very first deal. But before that, I was actually a stockbroker. I used to sell stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Penny stocks was really what I sold a lot of.
Oh, we got the wolf here, man. We got the wolf.
So how did you transition into real estate from stocks, bonds, and did you see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, wow, real estate is the gig?
Yeah, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and it was in the form of an infomercial.
You too, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if you guys remember this guy, but his name is Tom Vu. And little short Asian guy, would sit on the front of a yacht with girls in bikinis. And he said, I came to America. I learned to invest in real estate. If I can do it, you can do it. And I went to his seminar, and I signed up for the 3-day. And did all of that, and I eventually got my real estate license. I eventually got my contractor's license, and I just immersed myself in education. And it's just kind of history from there. I've done just about every kind of real estate deal there is, whether it's wholesaling, retailing, fix and flip, lease options, subject to, short sales. I've done commercial, multifamily. I've owned mobile home parks. I've owned 2 mobile home parks. My first and last, it was the same one. So, and I've owned Dollar General, Shoney's restaurants, but I like to focus. I try to focus. I have ADOS, attention deficit shiny, but I love to do residential real estate. I wholesale a lot of houses, and I do seller financing and lease options on a lot of houses as well.
So, Larry, what was your big why when you first started? Because you're really super successful. And to be successful, I've always found out that people have to have that reason why. I mean, why real estate and why for you and why at that time of your life?
Well, I don't really my first why, the first time, it was just I just want to make money. I just want to make money. I want to be successful. I saw my dad work with his hands all his life. And my dad died when he was 49 of lung cancer. And I was still a teenager. And at that time, I was working construction. I was installing carpet, countertops, floor covering, stuff like that. And I'd always had an interest in real estate, but I really wanted to get to where I didn't have to go to a 9-to-5 or 7-to-3 job every day, where I was going to be able to spend more time with my family. And I kind of dabbled in real estate for the longest time. But then in 1998, I was married, had a wife who's 28 years old, and I had a daughter who was 2 years old, and I found out that my wife had breast cancer. And so then we kind of went into survival mode. And my mother-in-law moved in with us, which was a great thing, awesome mother-in-law. And so for 2.5 years, my wife fought this breast cancer, and she eventually passed away in January of 2001. So here I am with a 4-year-old daughter, and now I'm an only parent. I'm not a single parent, I'm an only parent, okay? Because there's not another one out there. So I'm like, I gotta do this, you know? And I mean, I know you guys know, and maybe some of your listeners as well, you know, you ever had your back up against the wall and you're like, I gotta make this happen. I gotta make this happen.
Burn the ships.
Exactly. Exactly. Burn the boats, move forward. And that's when I started immersing myself in education. I read Business at the Speed of Thought by Bill Gates, all about automation, hypergrowth. I read The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, who ended up writing the foreword for my first book. And I just immersed myself in all kind of education. And I figured out a way that I could run my real estate business where I didn't have to physically be there every day, all day long.
Mm-hmm. So what was the impetus for starting the education in 2004? I mean, what gave you that idea, and how did you end up just starting it?
Oh man, I love to be on stage. I used to play in a rock and roll band. First, I started in a bluegrass band. I played banjo. Then I went in a country music band, and then I played in a rock and roll band, playing classic rock music. So I missed being on stage. That's really what started it.
And how did you start it? I mean, what were the steps you did to start the company?
Well, here's what I did. I went to my local RIA group, Metroline RIA, Alan Thompson, who was the founder, and great group, great guy. And he said, Larry, you're out here flipping all these houses. I want you to come do a talk. And this was actually before my first wife passed away. This was in like November of 2000 or November of 98. And he said, I want you to come do a talk called Where the Deals Are, because I know you're getting a lot of deals. You're doing stuff in other states. So will you come do this talk? So I went out there and I spoke. I mean, it was just, I had a handwritten note, and I didn't know what I was doing, but everybody loved it. They're, crowded around me at the end of it. Can you help me? Can you help me? Show me this, show me that. Can I come by your office? So I got the bug, and then I started learning as much as I can about how to teach and train and coach and mentor people. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And it ended up being a whole separate business that I had no idea about. But now we have successful students in the U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, Israel, the Philippines, Ireland, Chile, and Denmark.
Wow.
And so it's really cool. It is. I love it. I enjoy it. Last night I was speaking in Atlanta, and tonight I'm speaking in Asheville. And then later this week, I'm going to Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi.
On the road, a road show.
Let's go back. Let's go back to that first deal. What did you learn about that first deal? What were the pain points of that first deal? What did you learn on it?
Wow, it's been a long time ago, but I learned. Here's the most important thing I learned from that very first deal. I can do this. I can do this. Okay? Because until you get your first deal, there's a lot of people out there that want to be a real estate investor. They go to seminars, they buy books, they watch podcasts, they do a lot of things, but they never, ever, ever pull the trigger. Once you pull the trigger, okay, and you get that very first deal, all right, then it gives you the confidence to go out there and like, yeah, I'm a real estate investor. I can do this now, right? But until you get that first deal, you're just a wannabe. Okay, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you got to get that first deal under your belt to give you the courage to move forward and start pushing.
Larry, do you see that students either do 0 deals or they do a lot of deals? Has that been your experience?
No. And I'll tell you what, that's very true for a lot of them, okay? A lot of people have paralysis of analysis. Mm-hmm. They're seminar junkies, okay? Don't get me wrong. The seminars are great. I'm going this weekend to an event where I'm an attendee. I'm going to be sitting in the audience. I mean, yeah, it's an advanced tax strategies and asset protection event with a tax attorney, but I'm still attending events.
Coffee up on that one, my friend.
Yeah. So, but I love attending events. I love speaking and teaching and training. But the thing about it is some people either don't do anything, they have paralysis analysis, they never pull the trigger, and some people they'll get one deal and they'll move forward and they'll move forward and they'll move forward and they'll start scaling their business. But there's two types of business: lifestyle and enterprise. An enterprise business is like what I have, where I have staff, I have office, and I can walk in and I can see the deals on the board and they're making offers and working deals. A lifestyle business is where you're kicking back at Starbucks on your laptop talking to your VA in the Philippines who's making offers for you. Okay? So we have an enterprise business. But the thing I wanted to say about your question was, some people, they don't get the right education or information or latch on people to like you guys where they can learn how to do it the right way, and they'll do one deal and they end up losing money on that deal, and they say, this real estate stuff doesn't work. I'm getting out of the business. It doesn't work. It's all a bunch of crap, and it just doesn't work. So I'm out of here. But if they would listen to people like you guys and learn how to do it the right way, they could. I always tell people, your first deal's got to be a home run. Your first deal's got to be a home run. Yeah, everybody says, I got to get a deal. I got to get a deal. I got to get a deal. No, you got to get a good deal.
I totally agree with that, because we're going through that right now in the multifamily space. That's where we're focusing on, and I'm teaching it, and I almost feel guilty by saying, hey, listen, we think buy right. If you can't buy the thing right, it's not what you buy, it's what you pay. And it's really hard to teach students that, because you want them to get into that first deal. But I've suffered through some really crappy deals where I bought wrong, and I'm really trying to stick to my guns on that. And if I lose some students, so be it. But I'd rather have a student pass on 5 or 6 deals and wait 6 months for that right deal to come through than buy wrong. So I'm glad someone's actually affirming what I've been teaching and talking about for the last 6 months, which is great. I appreciate
that's
that.
right. In fact, sometimes you got to remember this. Sometimes the best deal you ever do is the one you passed on.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Larry, what do you see as qualities of a successful student? Because there's guys out there. Some guys are geniuses. Some guys are dumb as rock. The guy as dumb as rock might be the best real estate investor. What do you see in students that you say this guy is going to succeed?
It's like being a franchise owner, okay? The best franchise owners, like I read an article a while back about, I think it was McDonald's, said their best franchise owners are farmers, okay? Because they stick to the system. McDonald's has a system. They have Hamburger University, okay? The worst franchise owners are attorneys and engineers and CPAs who think they know it all, and they go in and try to change the system, and it fails. So if I had to give somebody some advice, I would say, find somebody you know, like, and trust that is where you want to be, and latch onto them and do whatever you can, even if you have to buy your way in, to get as close as you can to them, because success leaves clues, okay? Get as close as you can to them and latch onto it and take action. Yeah, it's scary. It's really scary. The very first time you do your first deal, it's scary, okay? But you got to feel the fear and do it anyway and move forward. Because listen, you got to get out of your comfort zone, because there's no growth in the comfort zone.
I totally agree with that. You I guess listed off 15 or 16 different strategies. What is your favorite strategy in real estate to make money? And I guess another question is, what's an easy strategy for a beginning investor to get into?
Buy low, sell high. A couple of things, okay? I like wholesaling, okay? I do like wholesaling. I call it real estate day trading. That was my very first book, getting started in real estate day trading. I was doing virtual investing before they came up with the term virtual investing. My first virtual investing deal, I bought it like 4 hours away from me. It was still in North Carolina, but it was like 4 hours away from me. But I would say wholesaling is a great way to get started. HUD houses, I love HUD houses, because with HUD, it's all done online on the computer. You're just putting in bids. We have a $3.75 an hour VA in the Philippines that works 3 hours a day, and she's putting in about 150 bids a day on HUD houses. $3.75 an hour, and that's all she's doing and she's not even full time. And we get deals all the time still at 50, 40, even 30% of list price.
So then what do you do with those HUD homes? Do you fix them up and flip them or hold them for cash flow? What's your strategy, exit strategy?
I don't fix them. I love real estate, but there's two things about real estate I hate: rehabs and tenants. Okay. But see, you guys are doing multifamily. You got a bunch of Jerry Springer tenants under one roof. Okay.
We get as many as we can under one roof. That's the plan.
But I hate rehabs and tenants. So what I do is I either wholesale them, day trade them, or I owner finance them. Or, now don't get me wrong, I say I hate tenants. I have tenants, okay? But my tenants are like Dollar General, Family Dollar, stuff like that. But I also do lease options, all right? It's kind of like a glorified tenant. In fact, I call them homeowners in training, where instead of putting down, a $600 deposit and paying $600 a month rent, they're putting down a $3,000 option consideration and they're paying $800 in rent. And their goal is within about 1 to 2 years, they're gonna get a loan and buy the property. Now, in the real world, it doesn't happen real often. That's just the way it is. But they're a better tenant. They're responsible for the repairs and maintenance, and they have a goal of eventually becoming a homeowner.
Mm-hmm. What strategies do you see working in this market now? What was working 5 years ago, and what's really working now in this market?
Well, really, I think all the strategies are working right now. Okay. It's just right now we're in a seller's market. Right now, as we speak today, we're in a seller's market. However, I'm still buying HUD houses. I bought one last week at 35% of list price. 35% of list price. When I go speak places, they're talking about, oh, everybody's bidding up the properties above list. They're pushing the prices up. And here I am buying properties at 50, 40, 35% of list price. It's all in what you look for and what you do and how you do it. So there's still deals out there. You just got to know where to go and how to find them and that sort of thing. But I will tell you my strategy right now, okay? Right now, I'm doing more wholesaling than I am seller financing or lease options. And the reason is because the market is being pushed up and it's a lot tighter of a market. Right now, I'm buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell to build up a war chest. And then in about 18 months, go back and watch this video. In about 18 months, you're going to see things go on sale, okay? The market's going to start to go. That's my opinion. I don't have a crystal ball, but probably somewhere around 18 months, you're going to see start to go down. When the market starts going down, that's when I'm going to be buying at deeper discounts, because in 2007, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and even 12, I was buying stuff as low as 20% of list price, okay? So when that happens, that's when I'm going to buy cheap and I'm going to lease option or seller finance them.
I think we're on the way down, Gino.
Yeah, you've been doing this for over 30 years. What gives you that feeling? Jake and I have our suspicions about that time frame too. What gives you that feeling of 18 months the market just having to correct?
Well, it's just everything that's going on in the economy and the market, interest rates, the political environment that we're in, a lot of different things, and it's all kind of coming together. And listen, trees don't grow to the sky. Markets go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. Okay? I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to take a guess, I would say about the next 18 months or so, probably toward the end of next year, 2018, you're going to start to see it kind of taper off a little bit.
So what kind of market do you like? Do you like a hot market or do you like a soft market? What's your preference?
I don't really care. The way I buy, I just keep going. Now, and I go to some places where the markets are hot. You take areas like, say, in Texas, Dallas, DFW area, Houston, hot markets. Everybody's got to do direct mail. Guys, I don't do direct mail. I have a zero marketing cost, zero advertising cost. All right. I'm buying MLS and HUD houses for the most part. Yeah, I do have a website and we get leads from that. We do Craigslist and we do have bird dogs and stuff like that. But for the most part, we're buying a ton of HUD houses and some MLS houses, and we're getting a lot of volume out of that, and we're getting them at deep discounts.
How do you choose a market when you go into a certain market? What are your parameters for looking at the market?
That's a great question. I don't choose a market, I choose a house. I make an offer on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I look for, like, let's just take Alabama for example, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if I was going to go into Birmingham, and I do buy in Birmingham, I buy in Alabama, I should say. But if I was going to go into, say, the Birmingham market, there's a lot of properties there, a lot of inventory, right? So, and yeah, it's turning around as well, but it has been turned around, but there's a lot of inventory still there. So what I'm going to do to set myself apart from the competition, I'm not going to look for any 2-bedroom houses. I'm not going to look for any 1-bath houses. I'm going to look for 3 2s with probably at least, say, 1,200 square feet. All right. So now if I get a property under contract, a good deal at a discount, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with at least 1,200 square feet, and I can sell it for the same price everybody else is selling a 2-bedroom or a 1-bath or a 900 square foot house, my house stands above everybody else. So if I'm going into a market where there's a lot of properties, a lot of inventory, I want my property to stand out from the rest. So I'll be a little bit more selective on what I'll buy. Now, if it was in a really, really hot market where the inventory is low, people are buying anything, I'll buy a 2-1 for 900 square feet, right? But in a market like Birmingham, I'm going to be more selective so my property stands out from the rest.
I have so many other questions. I mean, this is a great strategy for guys to get into, to start getting chunks of money if they want to actually ultimately get into the multifamily space. How did you start building your company and start setting up your systems to actually start growing like this?
That's a really good question, because I started doing this when there was no Podio, there was no websites. You know, it was all driving streets, dialing for dollars. So I learned how to do it the old school way. You know, you pick up the phone and you make an offer on a house. And I learned early on the 3 most important things in real estate are make offers, make offers, make offers. Okay? Because if you don't make any offers, you got 0 chance of buying a house. And I tell people that all the time. People, even students, they'll call our office and say, well, I just can't get this course to work, or this book just doesn't work. Very first thing I tell my guys, you got to ask is, how many offers did you make? Well, I called a couple realtors and I went and looked at properties and I've been on Zillow.com. Yeah, okay, let me ask you another question. How many offers have you made? Well, I hadn't really made any yet. Well, let me ask you a question. What chance do you think you had of buying something?
No, you had to ask him one more time. How many offers did you make? Then you can ask him.
Exactly. So listen, all you got to do is get out there and fake it till you make it. You know, we got scripts, we got everything. I don't care.
Especially if you're buying single family.
Yeah. You get out there and you read a script. How long have you had your property for sale? How many offers have you had? Why didn't you take it? You know, that sort of thing.
So what do you
get happen?
What do you look for in those deals? I mean, obviously you sound like you look for motivated sellers. What other, I guess, criteria are you looking for when you're buying houses?
Okay, if I'm wholesaling a house, because most of my houses are on the MLS, okay? Either HUD or MLS or Hubzu, some of those sites. What I try to do is I want to be able to sell my house for less than what it's listed for. For example, let's say there's a house listed for $69,900, all right? And let's say I'm able to get it under contract for $40,000, all right? So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to sell that property probably I'm going to put it back on the market for $54,900, all right? And this is funny, but it's true, is I've even had real estate agents buy houses from me. They're like, this house is on the MLS for $69,900. How can you sell it for $55,000? My standard answer is, do you want it or not?
Take it. Get it off my hands. I want to move some inventory, right?
Exactly. So, you know, that's why we say, you know, I remember the very first time this happened, one of my acquisition people told me, you know, hey, we just sold this house to a real estate agent. I'm like, what? A real estate agent? Yeah. But wait a minute. They have access to the MLS, and they're coming to us for inventory. Okay, here's our next promo. Our deals are so great, agents buy from us.
I like that, Jake. You know, we have a lot of choice words for real estate agents, especially residentials. They kill us. You know what I'm saying? But oh man. So if someone's wants to start out into the business, give me your best tip for all the listeners out there in the real estate world that want to get into the business.
Well, I think there's so many tips. It's really hard to say, but I guess I would say focus. Okay, focus, because I see so many people that they'll buy this book, they'll buy that book, they'll watch this podcast and that podcast, and they go to this seminar and that seminar. One week they want to do subject to, next week they want to do seller financing, the next week they want to do whatever it is, mobile homes or whatever. So you got to pick something and focus and put the blinders on and move forward. Okay, people don't give it a good enough shot and actually put forth the effort until they find the next shiny corner and they're off somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So you got to find something like your guys' students. Guys, you're listening to this, follow these guys and go out and do a multifamily deal. Go out and do a multifamily deal. Then if you want to branch out and do something else. But find somebody like, and trust, and latch onto them and follow them, because like Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. Okay? Mm-hmm. You guys are successful. If you want to learn multifamily, listen to these guys. They know what they're doing, right?
I agree. Amen.
What about on a daily basis? What habits set you apart and make you successful? Is there anything you do on a daily or weekly basis that's propelled your career?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. For so many years, we were running our business just by the seat of our pants, okay? We started running our business based on EOS. I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's the Gino boy.
No, we did the same. Yeah, we did the same thing.
Yeah.
We had him on the show.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm the visionary. And Candace in my office, she's our integrator. She's like a daughter to me. She and I do a radio show together here in Charlotte, and she runs our whole operation. And she's actually been to some of their integrator training where she met Gino, and she also met Mark from Rocket Fuel. So that's the way we run our business. And we have rocks, which are like your quarterly goals. Mm-hmm. And guys watching this, listening to this, go get the book Traction and get the book Rocket Fuel if this is the first you're hearing about EOS. And it will help you grow your business regardless of whether you're brand new, just getting started, or you have a whole team. But that's kind of the way we run our business. We have an accountability chart so everybody knows what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. We have SOPs, about, how do you make an offer on a HUD house? We got an SOP. How do you make an offer on an MLS house? We got an SOP. When you get one under contract, now what do you do? What do you do to market it? You go put out 25 signs, you put it on Craigslist, you put it on our website, and you send out an email to our buyers list. Okay? We know what to do and how to do it. Everything has systems and processes and procedures. And that's the only way that you can really scale your business, is to have a system and processes and procedures and put them in place and hold people accountable.
When we really started growing our team, because we have our own management business, we're a vertically integrated organization. I didn't realize how important this stuff was. I have a corporate background, and this stuff used to drive me crazy. And I'm like, when I get in my own business, I'm gonna ditch this stuff, ditch this crap. And then you get into it. People need to say these are the boundaries. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I completely agree with that. What about a mistake that you made in your career that you can say, guys, when you're getting into it, don't do this? What's something we can help shorten the learning curve for folks out there?
Man, I've never made any mistakes. Next
Dude,
question.
Hero!
I'm telling you, man, I wish if I had $1 for every mistake I made, I'd have more money than I have now. Okay? Because if you're not making mistakes, you're not growing. Okay? I lost $75,000 on one deal one time, okay? $75,000 on one deal. and it was a fix and flip. Have I said I hate rehab? So we got this deal down to that we were having an open house, okay? We were having an open house this very weekend. The guys had like 2 more days worth of work, okay? And this was back in the winter a few years ago, back when I did rehabs, okay? A few years ago. So so we had a really, really, really hard freeze, okay? And we get a call on Saturday morning, all right, from a neighbor. The neighbor says, I just wanted to let you know that something's going on with your house. The windows are all fogged up and there's water running out the front door.
Awesome.
So we go down there, and here's the thing. The contractor had left the water on and the heat off.
It's a good recipe on a cold day.
So here's a little tip for you. Insurance companies will not pay a claim if the pipes burst, if the water's on, and the heat is off, okay? The heat must be on. So after that, when I was wrapping up the other rehabs, anytime it was going to be cold, I would make the contractor send me a picture of the thermostat in the house showing me what the temperature was in the house. Because I ended up having to gut the whole. Now, this was because of pipe burst on the second floor. So we had to gut the ceiling of the first floor, the walls, put down new subfloor, and the whole first floor had to be redone. And the second floor about this high up, okay?
But the contractor covered all that, right?
Yeah, right. What's the first 3 letters in contractor?
No shit.
I'm sorry, I had to say it. I'm a licensed general contractor, and I hate contractors, okay?
Best salesman in the world, right?
I've been licensed since the 80s, and I hate it. But but anyway, so I had to redo it. This guy didn't have the money, okay? He didn't have the money, and he didn't have the money, and so I had to just find somebody else, okay? Because he wouldn't even come back to the job.
Yep. Not surprised.
Yeah. So I had to find somebody else and end up having it redone, and we finally got it sold. Plus, with fix and flips, you got inspections, you got buyers that are nitpicking everything, and they always get an inspection. And have you ever seen an inspection where they didn't find anything wrong? No, it's not going to happen. I like to deal with the buyers. I say, look, it's listed for $69,900. I'm letting you have it for $55,000 if you can.
It's not an inspection; it's a discount report.
Yes.
There you go. There you go. If you can close next week, I'll let you have it for $55,000.
Yeah.
If you can close next week.
I like that.
Yeah.
Besides EOS, any other books you want to recommend? Anything you read lately that brought value to you?
Oh my gosh! In addition to books, I'm telling you guys, get ready to take some notes. I love Audible. Well, you probably can't see that.
No, I got it, man. I'm with it.
I love Audible. I just read yesterday The Tax and Legal Playbook by Mark Kohler. I love Essentialism. Never Be Lied to Again. That's a great book. Never Be Lied to Again. HUD Homes Half Off. That's my book. I actually have my own book on here.
Who read it? Larry, did you read it or someone else?
No, actually, I read it myself.
Good man.
I've got I want to hear from the author, okay? Yeah. I want to hear from the author. In fact, I had somebody tell me a long time ago, they said, Larry, you ought to let me grammatically correct all of your writings so that way it's correct. I say, look, when people are reading my books, whether it's audio or in print, when they're reading my books, it's my voice they hear. And if it was grammatically correct, it would not sound right.
Man, he's in the club, Gino. This is my boy right here.
So I'm going to give you a few more books. The 10X Rule, Grant Cardone. Mm-hmm. Profit First by Michalowicz or something like that.
It's a green book. That's a great book, actually.
Yeah. Zero Resistance Selling is a good book. Okay. Rich Dad Advisor, Tax-Free Wealth is good. Rhino Success. If you've never read Rhinoceros Success, I've got like the original book from the 80s right over here in one of my bookcases from the 80s. And that's a great book. Scott Alexander is awesome. Let's see, Sell or Be Sold, The Art of Wholesaling, Overcoming the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, Loopholes for Real Estate, Go Giver. Man, there's just a ton of stuff. I'm just Scaling Up is good by Vern Harnish. It's similar to EOS, and it's just awesome. I read 1 to 2 books a week.
Nice. That's good, man.
I listen to 1 to 2 books a week, and I listen to them at at 1.5, sometimes 2 speed.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't listen at regular speed. I'm like, come on, man, get with it.
Come on, man. So, all right. So we went through, a lot of stuff. If people are interested in getting their HUD homes on and learning your systems and things like that, what's the best way for them to get hold of you?
Let's see. We've got a link to where they can get a free copy of my book. freehudbook.com/Jake and Gino. freehudbook.com/Jake and Gino.
Bring the Panya. That's going to be a good one. Check that baby out. Hey, yeah, this has been great. Really, really enjoyed you. Mr. G, you got anything else for him?
Jake, you usually like to do the wrap up as far as the high points. A lot of value in this call. My big takeaway is if you're going to start, just do it. You get into your first deal. Find someone that you can trust. It's not really about the deal. It's about the sponsor, it's the person that you're looking at, and get into it. And it's not about the strategy. Just get into the strategy. And we like multifamily because of our reasons, but I was fortunate enough to have a little bit of capital to get into multifamily. If you don't have the capital, you go to Larry, you find that system, and you can actually build a viable and really, kick-ass business doing what he's doing.
Quote of the day, first deal's got to be a home run. Love that.
That's right, I do.
So, guys,
awesome.
It's been awesome. Really appreciate it, and hope you guys have a good rest of the day.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks a lot, guys. You guys rock. Appreciate
You rock.
it.
Thank you.